But it's funny that we actually went this way because I want to talk about the other team in New York, the Brooklyn Nets, and things that we're seeing from them. And they just remind me of something we saw recently. It just sounds really familiar. Let me read this. I typed it out. I want to see if you catch the comparison. So we got superstars linking up on the B team in this city with the established historic franchise, right? Hoping to take over the city and flip the next generation to their side, but egos and injuries prevent them from playing together enough to develop the chemistry needed to go on the run they planned on. We heard that before already, right? That sounds like something that we just watched maybe last year.
Sounds eerily similar to
I don't know where I heard that before.
Another stepbrother, you know.
I want to be a flip flopper because I have been a champion of the Nets for a minute now. I'm not saying that they're going to fall apart like the Clippers did last year, but I'm saying right now they're on the same track. The superstars are there, but they're not playing together. They've been hurt all season long. There hasn't been as much ego as the Clippers. I kind of I stood in there, but just the lack of chemistry. They've only played 7 games total together, I think it is. And James Harden now is out. He re-aggravated, I think, his hamstring again, and working things out a couple of days ago, and that's going to extend his time out. We're not going to see that big three together much before the playoffs, if at all. So, do you see the parallels like I do with the Clippers last year and the Nets, and do you think they have the same fate?
Yeah, I think I believe it was Maples on Twitter who said like they had eerily similar situation to the Clippers last year.
If that is the case, I don't want to be like a guy that stole nothing. If he did say that first, I'm going to give him his credit. But I saw that too. I was like, I'm getting some vibes right now.
Absolutely was feeling the same way about them just because they haven't played like all season. Like you said, it was like 7 games total that Harden, KD, and Kyrie have played together. The injuries have been an issue. The continuity, I feel like, is a major factor. I don't know if you fully agree with that, just in general, that concept of needing to build that chemistry. But we saw
absolutely.
Yeah, we saw it was an issue for the Clippers last year. I'm hearing in the media people saying that it won't be an issue for them because of how supremely talented they are as individual players. You can't cheat the game. Like, that's not how it works.
Not the same thing last year too. Exactly. Yeah. And while
go for it.
All right, I was gonna say, while again, I will say there's not as much ego as there was on the Clippers squad, and while I think that they can work the chemistry out in some regard, as much as they are friends off the court, having that chemistry transfer onto the court is a different kind of thing, and you have to be on the court just to be able to do that. And with them just having the injuries causing them to be out for so long, I don't know if you can just automatically make it work in the playoffs. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they work it out.
And really the better comparison, not with the injuries, but just with a super team forming and still being elite, but not quite a championship team in their first year, is the Miami Heat. The LeBron, Wade, Bosh Heat team. They didn't win the finals that first year. They choked it to Dallas.
They got there.
They got there. Exactly. They got there, but they choked it away.
Sure.
And I think you could have a similar situation like that. Because of how talented they are, they're able to win a couple rounds still, but they kind of falter against a tough matchup in a Lakers team or a Clippers team. I think it's going to be something similar to that. We're not saying like they're going to completely crumble, like you said, but I don't think they're going to be able to get a championship this year. Next year, maybe, if they keep the pieces together. That second year is usually when the team's the strongest, as we see with the Clippers right now too. So I think it's going to be a situation similar to the Heat.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with that. I say I saw more the Clippers comparison just because I see some tough teams in the East, kind of like with the Clippers running into Denver. I see some teams in the East right now with the Bucks and others that I think could put up a good fight against them. So we'll see if they even get out the East. But if they do, I think if they just get to the finals after all this year, that will be an accomplishment in itself. Anything short is a disappointment. But if they get there, definitely some applause should be given to them. So we'll see. But definitely fun things there. I guess lastly, I will say just with them, Do you think with Harden being out for as long as he seems he'll be out, do you think they need all three superstars to make that run, or do you think they can survive with two of the three?
I think they can survive with two of the three. You're right in saying that the matchup is horrible, like with Philly and with Milwaukee. So
Let me add this.
To see one of those teams would be an issue.
Let me add this small thing in there as well.
Yeah,
I don't know how serious it is. I was sure he's out for the season, but Spencer Dinwiddie makes it seem like he very much wants to come back at some point this year. I don't know if he will. If two of the three can play, plus getting Spencer Dinwiddie back at some point, is that enough?
I think it's definitely enough for the first round because I think they're going to be a top 2 or 3 seed. Second round, it could get a little dicey if you're. I don't know how the standings would shake out, but if you have to play a Milwaukee or a Philly team,
right,
that's when it gets dicey if you only have 2 of them. Harden, I believe they said hopefully that he'll be back for the playoffs, like for the first round.
Right.
But yeah, before they even got Harden, they were a really elite team. It was looking like offensively. They had the same defensive struggles too, but Kyrie and KD were playing really great together to start off the season. And I think they would in a playoff series without Harden still. So, yeah, it would just when they get to that Philly or Bucks series, no one can check Giannis or Embiid.
Right.
So that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. So we're definitely gonna see that. I think if they can get if KD's back and shoot his superstar status that he usually is, I think I'm just fine for the first few rounds.
One of as I was just thinking about it too, another team I might be a little bit worried about is Miami. If I'm the Nets. Yeah, they haven't been as good as they were last year, but if they're healthy and have Jimmy and Bam, I still give them a shot against any of those top 3 teams.
Yeah.
Because of what we saw last year. So, as you talked about in the West, some of those teams at the bottom are still really nice too. In the East, I think not so much, but Miami is one of those kind of towards the bottom that could pose a threat to those top teams.